When you think of the Cold War, images probably come to mind of mutually assured destruction, proxy conflicts, and a general sense of dread. But did you know that this tense geopolitical period also gave us some of the most iconic science moments ever? Yep, Sputnik, the space race, Star Wars, laser beams from space. Seriously, do you need to know any more about the Cold War? But in addition to launching countless literal and metaphorical rockets, the Cold War era also created infrastructures of knowledge and communication that persist to this day. So here are 5 ways that Cold War science still shapes our world. Number 1. People-to-people exchange programs. In 1957, 2 years after the launch of Sputnik and 1 year before the launch of Explorer 1, the first American satellite, the US and the USSR formalized something called the Lacey's-Zarobin Agreement. This agreement established a framework for regular, reciprocal visits between scientists and technical experts from both sides. And it wasn't just talk. American delegations really did tour Soviet institutes and labs, and vice versa. For example, in 1960, a group of American experts visited a Soviet institute researching space medicine, while a group of Soviet scientists visited the Brookhaven National Laboratory in the United States. Now, these exchanges continued even at periods of heightened tension, like after the Cuban Missile Crisis. And they even survived the US embargo of 1963, which briefly suspended all bilateral cooperation between the two countries. By the end of the Cold War, dozens of scientists and scholars from each nation had visited the other's labs. These people-to-people exchanges not only laid the groundwork for future cultural and academic exchange schemes, but also provided a channel for dialogue and a foundation of tacit trust between nations that would become indispensable for the eventual end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new era of international cooperation. No. 2. Birth of science, diplomacy institutions. The height of the Cold War saw the creation of several quasi-governmental bodies tasked with bridging the divide between East and West. These groups essentially pioneered the field of science diplomacy. One of the earliest and most prominent was the Pugwash Conferences. Founded in 1957, the Pugwash Conferences brought together scientists from both sides of the Iron Curtain to discuss issues related to arms control and the ethical responsibilities of scientists. As the Cold War intensified, so did the importance of these discussions. Other inter-academy programs created similar cross-border committees to address issues related to nuclear safety, health, and environmental monitoring. After 1991, these forums expanded to include scientists from the newly independent states of the former USSR. As a result, they cemented collaborative norms and helped ensure the peaceful transition of many formerly classified technologies and No House No 3 framework for big science collaborations. Massive state investments in accelerators and reactors during the Cold War created what we might call the blueprint for modern big science. Take CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. It was founded in 1954 as an effort to pool the resources of European countries behind a single particle physics laboratory. And it's no coincidence that the first Director General of CERN was a Nobel laureate, and that one of its founders was a member of the WOAH group. Later, big science projects like the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, ITER, or the International Space Station would go on to mirror this model. Moreover, Cold War scientists established shared technical standards, data sharing practices, and peer review conventions that became the default in all large-scale projects in physics, astronomy, and materials science. Number 4. Standardization of practices. To facilitate joint experiments, the superpowers and their allies needed common protocols. Whether it was detector designs, data formats, or safety procedures, labs across the divide worked to harmonize their practices. This meant that when teams from both sides came together to analyze data or run experiments, they could work more efficiently and effectively. This process of harmonizing practices didn't just extend to scientists in the lab coat. It extended to the management of big science facilities as well. Consider, for example, the committee that oversees the operation of CERN. It's made up of representatives from 22 member states, reflecting the organization's commitment to open access and international collaboration. This kind of standardization didn't just make big science possible, it made it efficient. And the efficiency created by these standardized practices allowed Cold War scientists to accomplish amazing things, and that accomplishment wasn't lost on them. Scientists understood that their ability to work together to pool their resources and expertise was a powerful testament to the potential of international collaboration. And they made sure that this lesson was carried forward. No 5 post-1991 Science Aid and Integration. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the United States poured millions of dollars into basic science in Russia through a program called the Cooperative Threat Reduction Program. Some have called it the salvation of basic science in Russia. Dozens of joint US-Russia centers sprang up to upgrade equipment, train staff, and maintain research continuity despite slashed funding. Many Russian scientists also pivoted into Western consortia, ensuring that Cold War talent flows continued into the post-Cold War era. So there you have it. 5 ways that Cold War science continues to shape our world. From the way we conduct big science to the norms of data sharing and the value of international collaboration. The legacy of Cold War science is all around us.